be going, there we go, we're going live on Facebook and YouTube. Let's see if we can jump in on Instagram. Going live on Instagram. Yes, we're live on Instagram as well. So if you're just jumping in, thank you for waking up this early. Happy New Year to you. Welcome to 2025. Wishing you all the very best for 2025. We're going to start off with some stretches and strengthening of the neck, which I thought would be quite nice to start off with this morning. And then we'll go into some standing movement. Again, I really want to focus on the strength and the flexibility, that combination of strength and flexibility, strength and softness in the spine as we work through all of the sessions, whether that's the breathing sessions on the Mondays or the movement sessions here on the Wednesdays. Spine health, you've got the central nervous system, the peripheral nervous system coming from the spine. So key to keep that spine strong but flexible, particularly as we may be aging a little, getting that little bit older. So let's start off with our feet. So we'd stay sitting to start off with. We've got our feet in contact with the ground. And just making sure that you're nice and solid and supported on the chair that you're sitting. So you're stable and strong with the lower body, which gives you that opportunity then to lengthen and lift through the upper body. So tall through the spine. And I really want to emphasize that I don't want you to think of this as a stretch where you're just going as far as you can. I want you to get to the edge of the stretch and then stay with the edge of the stretch and then maybe come away from the edge as well. So I don't want to push, force or strain anything. So we're just going to lengthen our spine up by putting our hand a couple of inches above the spine, above the crown of the head, sorry. And then we just imagine that we're just aiming to reach the crown of your head. And then when you get that spine nice and long, you can rest the hand on the crown and we take the ear towards the shoulder. And again, this is not about forcing, it's not about trying to get the ear as close to the shoulder as possible. It's getting to that point where you feel, yeah, that's biting there in a good way. So we're just going very gently to the edge of the stretch. And then we're going to take the opposite hand, should have gone on the bigger camera first, and place it on your rib cage and then just shunt the rib cage across. So we're getting this nice little twist, not a twist actually, sort of like a nice little curve through the spine. And essential that we're breathing all the way through this. So just breathing all the way through this. I'm going to jump on the other camera so you'll be able to see a little bit clearer there. So long spine, ear to shoulder. And then when you get there, you're going to look into the opposite direction of your ear to shoulder, but without turning the head. It's very tempting to turn the head. Just use the eyes. So we take the focus up and across, and then we're starting to work all of this fascia in the eye sockets, all of the tiny muscles, the ligaments, the tendons, the fascia. You can blink, of course, but keep breathing. When you go slow and steady into these movements, it means we're not going to force anything. If we force, if we push beyond comfortable, then our body just tenses up. So we want to relax into this. Maybe you can let go a little bit more with an exhale. A few more breaths. And then very slowly, bring your head to balance back on top of the spine. Have a little shake out if you need a little shake out. And sit tall again. Always good to lengthen. Think of a spring. If you're going to bend a spring over, you'd lengthen it out and bend it over rather than just squash it all down. So we're going that way now. Lengthen up. Gently rest the hand on top of the head. Very slowly do everything nice and slow. Oh, that feels different. Wait till you get that little bite there. And then you can take opposite hand onto the ribs. Just slide the rib cage across. Feels nice, that feels nice in my upper back there. And then take that visual out and to the side. Getting all that movement in the eye sockets. Gently breathing in and out through the nose. Maybe you can let go a little bit more on an exhale, but again, really not forcing. Few more soft, easy breaths. And then very gently bring your head back to balance on top of the spine. Now, if you've got a nice solid surface that you're sitting on, and this is important because if it's soft or if it wobbles side to side, this is going to be a little bit challenging. If you've got a nice solid chair that you're sitting on, you can just shift your weight side to side. So at the minute, spine is going with that weight shift. So you're just feeling it on your sitting bones. You're going to the left and the right, shifting your weight side to side. And then you can free up the spine. So we're doing dog wags the tail, but seated. And you can see as you shift the weight, I'm not trying to move my ear to shoulder, it's just following that whole spine ripples, that whole spine waves. Very gently. You might hear lots of creaks and crunches in all the tissues and around your neck there. And of course, it goes without saying, if you've got any pain, if you've got any problems, then you don't do it, you just stop. It's not about pushing through pain. And if we go slowly, mindfully, consciously, then we're not going to push ourselves beyond what is good for us now. And then slow it down. Actually, while we're seated, we can do a little spine twist in the seat as well, which I think is quite good. I'm going to move my chair back a bit just so you can see. So making sure, again, you've got your feet in contact with the ground. You can see, well, you can't see, but I'm on the edge of the chair. I'm not sitting back in the chair, so I'm not in this position. Just get on the edge of the chair so that you can keep that spine long. Hopefully I haven't just pulled my mic out. Edge of the chair so you can keep your spine long. Take your feet sort of like hip width apart. You know, when we're when we're standing, when we do that, hip width apart with the feet. And then you're just going to place one hand on the inside thigh there, on the knee there. So you're just resting your hand there, and then we're just going to reach this other hand up and around to the side. So we're just getting a little bit of a twist through the spine there. And then we're going to come back and we're going to change sides, and we're going to rest the other hand there, reach that hand up, and then just very gently twist around. I really emphasize that we're not forcing anything. And then just going side to side, just keeping tall through the spine to start off with. Slowly raising hand and it's like you just sitting down and you're just reaching behind for something. Almost like when we were doing standing picking cherries and the breathing, it's almost like I'm just reaching up there for something. I'm reaching. You'll feel also that you're working that opposite arm to keep that, because it's very tempting to do this. So you're keeping that spine strong by just putting a little bit of resistance against that opposite thigh, that opposite knee. So if you are doing a lot of desk-based stuff, then you can take a moment, and again, you don't have to spend hours doing this. Just one stretch each side is going to be better than doing nothing. Let's go side to side one more time. And then take a rest. And hopefully you'll find there as well, it's opening up this whole chest area as well. We can take that one step further. We can either stay with that if you want to, or if you want to come and tilt forwards slightly. So when I'm tilting forwards, just make sure that you're not rounding the back like this when you're tilting forward. So I'm just keeping that spine long. I'll show you if I was standing. But again, if you're on the edge of the chair, and if it's difficult, I'm looking in the wrong camera, sorry, it's that camera. If it's difficult on the chair, then please do feel free to come up to standing, because if you sat on a sofa and something like that, it might feel a bit awkward. But if you're on the chair, you're in this position, you're just tilting forwards, and then you're doing the same thing where you're reaching side to side. If you're on the chair, you're just coming forwards. Actually, if you're on the chair, you're most probably in this position as well with the arm. And reaching. And then swapping sides. Nice and slow, nice and steady. Breathing in and out through the nose. And again, you'll find you're working that opposite side as well to stop everything from collapsing in or rotating in. And then take a rest. Let's come up to standing. So you can lose your chair. And we will take our feet shoulder width apart, and then we'll just go into knocking. And again, because we've done that spine mobility and stretching and strengthening, seated, maybe this feels a little bit different. Tall through the spine. Gentle breaths. Nice way to ease into the new year. If it feels comfortable for you, just glancing behind a little bit further, or just stay facing forwards, knocking. But the trick again with this is to keep that spine long, so we're not craning our neck to look behind. And if we start to feel a little bit dizzy, as long as it doesn't feel horrendous, that's good. That's just challenging our nervous system a little bit, challenging our neurons a little bit, hopefully. And slowing it down. Taking a moment. And then taking your feet a little bit wider apart. So again, you choose that width, but we want to definitely go wider than hip width. So we can shift our weight side to side. Now we're shifting our weight side to side, keeping that pelvis parallel to the ground. So again, it's very tempting to do this. So I'm not doing this. I'm shifting the weight side to side. Notice that spine is just sitting on top of the pelvis and it's going upwards. So I'm keeping that spine long. You start to feel now you're working those hips and the glute muscles. That knee bends and goes over the opposite foot. Knee bends and goes over the opposite foot there. So it stays in line with the ankle. We've got none of this going on. Get that nice position going. Shifting side to side, using the ground. You're pushing the ground away. And then we can bring knocking in. Sliding side to side. So again, just really helping to create a little bit more strength in that lower body. Keep the spine long. Notice I'm not coming up and down either. Everything's on one plane of movement with the hips. Let's bring the arms swinging across the front into the chest. So the long point. Get that rhythm going. Let's come over the shoulder. Really getting the blood flowing now. Getting your energy going. Back down to chest. And back down to belly. And slow it down. Let's do water waves, shifting side to side. And then slowly come back up to standing. You should feel you've given yourself a good workout with the legs there. So give the legs a good shake out. Shaking out from the hip. What are we doing time-wise? That's good. Shaking the legs. And then standing shoulder width apart. Let's do picking cherries. So reaching up. And then reaching up. Remember, we're going from here first. So you're lengthening up, getting that stretch. Not strain. If you're straining, you'll go, you'll hear the strain. So if you breathe with it, feels good. Just one more each side. And then back down. So you might feel that one side tends to be maybe a little bit more compressed. So you might notice that one side has got a little bit more of an easier flow than the other side. So by doing stuff slowly, mindfully and consciously, we're noticing things like that. And then we can go, oh yeah, I just need to maybe just reach a little bit more with that side. Can I create a little bit more space on this side? All of these things will make that difference. Let's go back to slightly wider apart with the feet. Hopefully you can see this okay on Instagram, because I know on Instagram we have that portrait shake camera, but feet are slightly wider. We're going to go maybe a little bit more of a turn out of the feet here, but just making sure that, again, the knees aren't dropping in too much. If they are, just bring the feet in a little bit. I want you to feel comfortable, but I want you to feel engaged and strong through the lower body. And we're just going to rest on the thighs. Again, I'm not putting loads, I'm not just collapsing down on the thighs, I'm keeping the spine long. I'm just resting lightly on the thighs. We're going to shift that weight side to side again. You might find that rotation, you'll feel that rotation through the legs, so you'll get that nice stretch or lengthening there through the thigh muscles, the abductor muscles, which often get tight. And then we're going to free up that upper body again. So you're going to look at the opposite foot, and then we're going to roll and look at the opposite foot. We're going to start some nice figure of eights with the hips a little bit as well. So figure of eight with a hip, free up that upper body. Think of moving the body like a river. Breathing easy. And then take a rest and slowly come back up. Bring the feet together. Have a little shake out if you need a little shake out. We're going to I don't know whether we've done this. If we have done this, it'll be a while back since we've done this movement. This is a nice movement that I've rediscovered. You know, you're doing a movement years and years back and you go, oh, I've forgotten about that one. But it's a lovely one again for opening up and getting that nice twist through the spine. It leads on from what we've been doing in the seated spine twists as well. So we go back to this position. We've just done our move the body like a river like this. Then what we do is you go to one side and then you just rest your arm on almost like on the inside of the thigh. Watch that we're not collapsing down here. So now we keep the spine open. So you're resting there. You bring the arm, raise it overhead, and just open up and look up towards that arm. And then we swap sides. So we dip down, rest, open up. Down, rest, open up. Think of rhythm, think of flow. No strain. Breathe how is comfortable. If you can, you're breathing in here. Breathing out as you're going back down. Breathing in. Breathing out. And again, you might notice all your little sticky bits. I can certainly feel the difference in the flow on my left-hand side, which flows nice and easy. Then I can find all my sticky bits on the right-hand side. So again, if we're doing it slowly, mindfully, consciously, let's do one more each side. You're going to feel your legs working nicely, your hips working nicely. And then you can slowly come back up, walk your feet together, have a little bit of a shake out. And let's finish off with pulling down in 6 directions, pulling down the heaven in 6 directions. So you take your feet shoulder width apart. We're breathing in, we're breathing out. In and then out. Repeating on the opposite side. And then interlocking the thumbs and just resting the palms on the lower dantian, bringing your feet together, closing your eyes. Just letting your body gently move as it needs to, rock, sway, maybe a little bit of spiral. Relaxing the shoulders down, just letting the elbows sit into the side of the body. And then taking a calm, full breath in, expanding the lungs, expanding into the body. Just a little pause at the top of the breath as you open your eyes, as you step out, then let that breath go. Gentle brush down. Lovely, excellent. Hopefully that's set us up good for the new year. Starting us off, as always, if you have anything in particular that you want to work on, that you want us to focus on, do send me a text, send me an email, send me a message. and we can include those in the sessions. Remember, Mondays we're more focused on breathing, but obviously breathing and movement is combined. Wednesdays we're more focused on movement and strength. So that's the way we will continue to run the sessions. As always, thanks ever so much for joining me and for your support. Wishing you again a very happy new year, and we're back to normal next week until we get to Easter. All the Easter eggs will be in the shops now, I expect. So back to normal next week at 8 o'clock, isn't it? Monday morning, 5 o'clock. I'm not getting up at 5 o'clock on Monday morning. 8 o'clock Monday morning for focusing on the breath. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.